Hey, congratulations on your new makeup. I am excited to help you get started with the new makeup routine. So I just want to take a second before I take you through the step-by-step video to thank you for choosing me as your personal Seint artist. And I'm here for you as you begin your new makeup journey. What things to expect in this video that you're getting ready to watch. A very slow, detailed, step-by-step process of getting you underway with your new routine. So I hope you use the video as well as the diagram that I provided in the email for you as you get started. Use those two together and I am pretty certain that you're going to have your new method down in no time. So once you apply your makeup, send me a picture. I'd love to see it. I can't wait to see how the colors look on you. So I'm here. And again, thank you and welcome to the Seint Beauty family. First thing I like to do before I apply my makeup is to prime my face with setting spray. Seint has a great setting spray. It's the Stay Spray. And a lot of times, it's so good, it's sold out. It's out of stock a lot. So if it's out of stock, I like just the Maybelline setting spray. If your face is oily, there's the Urban Decay De-Slick that works great. So really setting spray of your choice. And what I like to do is I like to prime my face with the setting spray. It works as a great primer. So I'm almost empty. So it's coming out in spurts. And we're gonna let that dry. And while it's drying, I would like for you to go and wet your perfector sponge or your beauty blender sponge. Run it under water. It will double in size, if not triple in size. And I want you to wring it out really well in a towel or a paper towel. And I just want you to set it on the side. These are best used damp, not wet, but damp and not dry. If it's too wet, it takes your makeup off. If it's too dry, it'll take your makeup off. So you want it just perfectly dampened. So go do that. And I've also have seen artists spray their sponge with setting spray and then apply it. But I just like to spray it. I like to do it kind of heavily. Not to where it's dripping off my face. You know, like I said, this is almost empty, so it was like coming out in spurts, so it kind of drowned me. So I'm just going to take a little of that excess off with my perfector sponge. So now that your face is dry with your primer or your setting spray, I like to do my eyes first. Doing my eyes first prevents a lot of fallout in my newly applied makeup. So I just like to simply prime my eyelids with a little bit of highlight. So I just take the small end of one of my brushes. This is my buff brush, but if you have the detail brush, you can take the small end of that and just real lightly even out those eyelids, because a lot of times our eyelids, like mine, are very discolored. Sometimes they're very veiny, and we just want to give a nice solid foundation for our eyeshadow, just like we do the rest of our face. So if you have the buff, the blush and bronzer brush, take the small end of it and just even out, doesn't take a lot, even out your eyelids. Give them a nice little prime. And then apply your eyeshadow. I'm not going to do that in this tutorial because it's already going to be kind of long, because I'm going to go really slow since this is your first highlight and contour. So I'm going to go off camera, put my eyes on, and then come back and we're going to get busy. Okay, now that my eyes are done, let's get started. And I'm going to start with color correcting. This may not apply to everyone, but I'm going to cover it. So only take the bits and pieces from my video here that apply to you, and you'll know if this is applied to you or not. Use your diagram as well and go step by step in the diagram that I gave you as well with this video for your first application. So if you were given a color corrector, maybe to color correct some circles under your eyes or some redness or acne or anything like that, you may have been given like a darker highlight such as mango or papaya, or you may have been given the contour Aspen. I'm going to use the contour Aspen just to cover up some of the redness that I have right here. I have a little bitty broken capillaries right here, and I'm going to take the smaller end of my brush. This is the detail brush, or take the smaller end of the blush bronzer brush, or the smaller end of your buff brush. Whichever brush you have, use the smaller end and just lightly apply that color corrector 10, that foundation, whichever one you were given, to the areas that need it. And as you notice, I'm just doing it in a light stipple motion. And I'm not pressing hard into my product, very lightly. It doesn't take much. Can you see? Very lightly, just tapping in. And I also have like a little freckle, like right on the bridge of my nose, in that little area right there. I'm just going to disguise it with a little bit of Aspen. And that's it. Now that I've color corrected, I like to apply my main highlight first. You may like to apply your contour first. You do whichever you're comfortable with. There's no right or wrong way to this. It's whatever you prefer. That's the beauty of this makeup. Make it your own. So I like to apply my main highlight with the small end of my buff and bronzer brush. You may want to apply it with the larger end of your buff brush or the larger end of your detail brush. Whichever brush you have, you decide which end works best for you. I like to do it, like I said, with the small end of my blush bronzer brush. And look, I'm tapping lightly in. And I'm just going to stipple it in all of the areas that will not be getting any contour or any lip and cheek. Just lightly. You can see how I'm just lightly stippling. And I think that is the hardest thing for a new client to learn. How much product to put on their brush. You're going to get the hang of it. You're going to get the hang of it. And I'm not necessarily going to go right here under that, under my eye, because I'm going to save that area for my brightening highlight. And remember, I'm not going right here with it. I'm going to cover my nose with it. And again, I'm just lightly stippling. And I'm going to get it right on the lower portion of my forehead, because we're going to contour that upper portion. And I stipple because I'm in my 50s. I've lost a lot of elasticity in my skin, and I don't want to drag it because I'm just stretching the skin, and I don't want to do that. And also by stippling, My pores are larger now that I'm in my 50s. Also, the little fine wrinkles that I have, by stippling, kind of fills those gaps with the product. That's the beauty of cream makeup. You can apply it like this. Could you see yourself trying to apply liquid like this? You would have just gobs of it everywhere. It does not work as well. So, okay, now that I have my main highlight on, I'm going to move on to the next step. Now I'm going to show you how I apply the bronzer. I don't always wear bronzer, but it does warm up my skin, and I'm not wanting to change the color of my skin with bronzer. I just want to warm it up a little, because all of these shades, no matter which shade you have, has a yellow undertone. And a lot of times it's a little cool for me, and I just want to warm it up just a pinch. So this is where I apply the bronzer. After the main highlight, prior to the contour and the blush. You could watch 100 artists and they're all going to apply the makeup differently. A lot of times an artist, you'll see her apply the bronzer prior to putting anything on, and a lot of times artists will apply it after. And you may not even have bronzer right now, but I just wanted to include in the video how to apply the bronzer. I'm going to take the big end of my blush bronzer brush, and I'm just going to lightly dust it over my bronzer right here. Okay, and I'm just going to lightly tap it, or you could lightly dust it over your forehead, or I'm going to do it over my forehead. I'm going to put it in all the areas where the sun would naturally kiss my face. So all the high points on my face. Forehead, cheekbones. You see how it just kind of warmed up my skin tone, but it really didn't tan me? That's what I'm looking for. Just to give a little warmth. So I have my forehead, my cheeks. I'm going to hit my chin and lightly dust my nose. And there I have applied my bronzer. One more thing about the bronzer. It's a great tool to tie in your face and your neck. A lot of times we're two-toned. So it's a great way to just bring in the color of our face into our neck and our neck into our face. So I'm just going to lightly apply this down. And in the summertime, I'm real splotchy here. It's a great way to give a little camouflage to all the sun damage that I've done to my neck, my chest area. So just wanted to share that with you too before we move on to the contour. Okay, now for the contour. And this is part of everyone's highlight and contour. I am going to apply my contour with my detail brush. You can apply it with the small end of the blush and bronzer brush, if that's the brush you have. Just squeeze these ends, kind of rectangle, the small end, and you can apply it like so. Or you can take the small end of your buff brush and use this edge, the bottom angled part, use that edge and apply your contour like that. I've also seen a lot of artists just apply the contour with their fingers, because your fingers really allows you to feel that cheekbone and follow along the edge of it. So again, this is your highlight and contour. So you're going to find which method works best for you. For me, like I said, I like to use the big end of my detail brush, and I'm only going to use one edge of it. Otherwise, it's going to be too fat to put along that cheekbone. So I'm going to tap into my contour very lightly. I'm going to feel for that bottom portion of my cheekbone, and I'm just going to follow it from my hairline forward. And again, I'm just doing little taps, stippling motions. And right toward the front of my cheek, I'm just gonna hug it just a little bit. And I'm gonna leave about a 2-finger space from my nose. I'm not going into my fishies, and I'm not gonna get too close to my nose. I'm gonna kind of stay on the, from the middle out of my eye. Probably a little further than the middle. And I'm gonna do both sides like that. From my hairline forward, just like so. See how it's kind of hugged up a little? Again, leaving about 2 fingers there. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with the flat end of that brush, and I'm just going to add it to the top of my forehead. And I'm going to brush it back into my hairline there. And then I'm going to take underneath my jawbone. So you're wanting to give yourself like a figure 3. Remember, contour in the figure 3. Forehead, cheekbone, under jawline. You're just chiseling out your face with contour, creating shadows to give the illusion of indentations. Whereas with the highlight, you're bringing out things. You're highlighting the features of your face. Contouring, you're kind of disguising some features of your face that you want to disguise. You know, it gives the illusion of cheekbones, you know, more defined cheekbones. Gives the illusion of a smaller head. Kind of gives the illusion of a nice chiseled jawline. I'm also going to take that contour and I'm going to drag it down my neck some. Avoiding this very center where the Adam's apple is on a man. I'm going to avoid that area. And I'm just going to blend it by dragging it down. And if you have like the saggy jaws like I do right here, I'm just going to lightly put a little, not too much, because I'm just going to give a little bit of shadow right there to just try to slim up that look on my face, or that portion of my face. You really can't even tell that I've done that just looking at me from the side, but it makes a big difference from the front. You know, I encourage you to play with this makeup. Play with it and see which works best for you. That's the fun of this makeup. You get to play with it. Okay, my nose. I like to contour my nose with my finger, or you can use the edge of your brush. I will use my brush to clean up my nose contour, but to apply it, I have found that the easiest way to do it is put some contour on my ring finger and move my ring fingers together. And I played with contour long enough now to know that this method works best for me. I have a big hump in the middle of my nose, and the end of my nose is like a ball. So for me to apply it with the brush coming down my nose, it doesn't give me a nice straight line. It kind of skips some areas. So that's why I said, play around with it. See which works best for you. So I use my ring fingers and I kind of start right here, and I'm going to move up my nose and back down. And I'm going to put it, you see how I've left the little bitty skinny center of my nose free from contour to add my highlight. And I'm just going to drag it up to my eyebrows. And I'm just going to kind of blend it down the sides of my nose. Like so. See that little center? And I'm going to leave that for some highlight. Now for my lip and cheek. I like to apply my lip and cheek with the larger end of my buff brush. You may apply it with the smaller end of your detail hack brush. You can put it right along your contour, right above your contour with the smaller end of that, or the smaller end of the blush bronzer brush. This is what this brush was designed for, to kind of add your blush right along here. But again, it's the beauty of this makeup, the beauty of these brushes. Any brush can do your entire face. So you'll figure it out. You'll get the hang of it. Just be kind to yourself and allow yourself the time to play with it and see which method works best for you. So like I said, I'm going to apply it with the larger end of my buff brush. I'm going to lightly tap into my nude color here. And I'm just going to go above that contour area on back. Just like so. I've also seen a lot of artists just tap in with their finger. I like to use my brush. Again, you're going to find which works best for you. There. Now I'm going to apply the accent highlight or the brightening highlight to the center triangle area of my face, because that's the area of my face that I really want to pop. It's going to make my eyes pop, and it's just going to bring attention to the features in my face that I want attention brought to. But before I do that, you see these indentations right here, and that's where a lot of my discoloration is. Well, I like to incorporate, and I've shared this with you on that second email I sent to you. This is where I like to include the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This just kind of helps disguise those areas. It has that anti-reflective property in it. And I'm just going to take a brush, and I'm going to just lightly tap it in right under those lines I have there. Just like so. And I also fill my laugh lines with this when I'm done. So I like to put this under my brightening highlight. Just like so. And then I'm going to warm it up to my skin. You can do that with your, let me grab it, your perfector sponge. Or you can do it with your finger. Just tapping it gently under. Remember, you always want to be extra gentle with that area under your eye. That's why I switched fingers. We're heavier with this pointer finger. So take either your ring finger or your middle finger and use that, because we're not as heavy with those fingers. Okay. So now I'm going to apply my brightening highlight. That's the lighter of the two highlights that I've recommended for you. And I like to apply it with the small end of my buff brush. You might want to apply it with the small end of your detail hack brush. This end you could still apply it with, but it is a little larger. So if that's the only brush you have, I would just gently tap it in with my finger. So I'm just going to lightly tap into my brightening highlight. Like I said, is the lighter one. And I'm going to apply it in a pie shape right underneath my eye. And again, I'm tapping in, and I'm also going to use this to clean up the edge of my eyeshadow right there. And I'm going to bring it and tap it forward to give a lift look towards my, for my eye. Just tapping it in. And again, I'm doing a triangle shape right here. I'm not going to drag it past my nose. Just like so. See the difference that it's made to my face? Again, I'm going to clean up that edge of my eyeshadow right here with it. Just like in a pie shape right here. Okay. Now I'm going to take the smaller end of my detail hack brush, and I'm going to come down the center of my nose right here, and I'm going to fan it right over my forehead right there. If you do not have this brush, you may have another small brush that you could use, or you could tap with your little finger. But I'm just going to come up that little area of my nose that I left contour free. And remember when I told you I'll use the bigger end of this brush to clean it up? Well, this is where that comes into play. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip my brush and just kind of clean up my nose. Because I like that little area to be actually smaller than what I can get it with the tip of my brush. So that's why I like to go back and clean it up. Just like so. Now, remember what I told you about my nose. The end of my nose has a ball on it. So I don't like to highlight the tip of my nose, but your nose might be nice and, you know, just straight down. So you may have a nice slope on your nose. You may not have the ski jump at the end of your nose like I do. So you can just bring that highlight all the way down your nose. I just kind of bring it right to where it turns up a little. Just like so. I'm just going to clean it up. And remember, we're going to blend it all in a little while. I'm going to come up here, clean that up some. And once you get the hang of it, I mean, this video is long, but once you get the hang of putting this makeup on, you're going to be able to apply it in no time. You know, the video is longer because I'm stopping, I'm talking a lot. You're not going to be doing that when you're applying your everyday makeup. Okay. So I'm also going to put a little bit of highlight right here on my Cupid's bow. And a little bit on my chin. Like I said, just kind of brightens up that center triangle of my face. So now it's time to blend. I like to blend with my Perfector sponge. And again, like I said a little while ago, you could watch 100 artists. 100 artists are going to do this differently. A lot of times you're going to see artists blend their makeup with this fluffy end of their blush and bronzer brush. I find I'm a little heavy-handed when I do that, and it takes off too much makeup. So I just like to softly bounce this over my makeup, and it's going to blend it seamlessly. And it's just going to take off just enough of that excess makeup. I'll flip it over right here with the pointy end, kind of right there. And remember, if your sponge was too wet or too dry, it will take your makeup off. But you just want it to be just damp enough that it blends it beautifully. I might roll it a little bit up here, make sure I get right there. And it's almost like I'm just, I don't know, helping the makeup, again, fill those little cracks and crevices that we get when we lose that elasticity in our skin due to, you know, our collagen stopped reproducing itself back in probably our 20s. Okay. So now that I'm all blended, I'm going to top it off with my setting spray. And I'm going to give my Stay Spray another try. And again, like I told you, I'm at the end of my bottle there. So it's like squirting me. So I'm just going to use my Maybelline. And I like to be real generous with it. And I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let it dry. I'm not going to wipe it off. I'm just going to let it dry because I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos before. I live in South Louisiana, where right now it is December 30th. This is the 30th of December, and it's in the 70s outside right now. So we're hot down here, folks. So I want to do everything I can to ensure that my makeup stays. So not only do I top it or set it with a setting spray, I also like to finish it off with the IT by Pores translucent setting powder. This is great for mature skin because it's made with silk and hydrolyzed collagen. I've also included this in that second email that I sent to you. I like to finish my makeup off with this, and this really helps disguise the little lines under my eyes and those laugh lines. And once I dry here, we're going to address those laugh lines. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to put on some lips. I like to line my lips with some contour. Or you can line it with lip liner, or you don't have to line your lips at all. I like to line my lips because they have a lot of sun damage and a lot of damage to the pigment in my lips, to where it's extremely hard for me to see the difference between my lip and my skin. So I like to just kind of define my lips with just a little bit of contour using the small end of a multitasker brush. just like so. And you could add a little more to a highlight to that Cupid's bow. If you get too much, like I said, play around with it. See what works best for you. Okay. And the great thing about contouring your lips, you can add a little volume to your lips, or you can try to disguise a little volume. My bottom lip, I try to disguise a little volume in my lip by kind of shading a little contour on my lip. If your bottom lip is thinner, you can just add a little bit of contour right there with like this end of your brush, just like so. And it makes your bottom lip have a little poutier look. You can build a lip, your upper lip, by coming just a pinch over your actual lip with the contour, giving a fuller lip look. So many things you can do with your lips and contour. So now that I have my contour on, and you know, I'm almost dry, I'm going to put on some lip color. I flipped my multitasker brush. Now, this is the one I save just for my lips. And I'm just going to paint a lip and cheek on my lips. A lip and cheek color. Again, you could use your finger for this. Okay. And my lips are full. I have very full lips. And a lot of times I think one solid color is a lot on my lips. So I like to break it up with another lip and cheek kind of mixed in. I'm not going to go to the edge. I'm not going to cover my full lips with it. I'm just going to tap another color in, kind of the center. See what that does. Gives a little ombre look to my lips. I think I need my magnifying mirror, so I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that, but it's hard to do your lips in the mirror in the compact or the cell phone, so I apologize for that. But what I did is I cleaned up my lip right there. I tapped in that lighter lip and cheek, and I also did a little bit of illuminator on my lip just to give it a little breakup and a little shine and a little ombre look, because like I said, I have very full lips. So remember when I applied this Becca under my eyes, and I know you can still see a little line there, but we're not finished with the makeup, because when I apply that setting powder, it's going to help fill that little line right there. But now that I have everything on, I'm going to come back, and in those laugh lines, I'm going to take a small end of a brush, and I'm going to draw a line with that Becca in the laugh line. You may not need this. I need this. I'm not ready to do any fillers or Botox yet, just to my face. Not ready for that yet. So I use all these other things to help disguise those signs of aging. So again, I'm taking my middle finger and I'm just warming this up to my skin. Just like so. I stopped because I thought, did I just drop my powder? I think I just dropped my powder. Okay. Now, yes, you can still see it, but watch when we apply the powder. Let me grab it. Okay, here's my It Bye Bye Pores powder. And yes, it fell, so it might be a mess when I open it up. Yeah, there's a lot in there. I don't want to necessarily take from there, so I'm just going to take a fluffy end. This is, I think, the blend brush. I'm going to take some in there, and I'm going to put it in the lid here. And watch. I'm going to lightly tap the powder under my eye. And look how it helped disguise that line. Now I'm going to take, still with this end, I'm going to tap some of that off because it was heavy. And I'm going to come over that laugh line. Just like so. Now I'm going to take that big end of my blush and bronzer brush. I'm going to take what's left in my cap, and I'm just going to lightly take off that tack that is left behind by my setting spray and my cream, and I'm just going to fill it with a little bit of setting powder. And if you're oily in that T-zone, you really want to make sure you get that T-zone. And I'm just going to lightly dust it on my forehead. And I'm also going to bring a little down on my neck. Now again, it was a longer video because I stopped, explained a lot to you. You're going to get the hang of this. I promise. It seems like a lot right now. Put a little powder there. It seems like a lot right now because it's new, and everything that is new to us is a challenge. But I guarantee that if you stick with this method, you're going to love it. Be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. Give yourself, I would say, a good week to 2 weeks to get the hang of it. And also to let your face get used to having everything cream on your face. Your face is going to love it. But your face has also never had a face full of cream makeup before. So your face needs to adjust. Just like you need to adjust to a new method, your face needs to adjust to a new product being on it. And I also like to tap into a little bit of illuminator. You may not have illuminator, but if you do, I like to put a little bit on the very tip of my nose, just like so. And you can also just run it right here along. A lot of times this is just too much for my everyday look, so I don't do it every day. But just in case you have it and you want to, you can. It's your makeup. You feel, you do what you're comfortable with. And I'm not dragging this, I'm just patting it because remember, I did already powder. I'm just gonna add a little bit of sheen to the highest part of your cheek. And you could come in here right above your brow. And I did not do my eyebrows. I'm gonna do my eyebrows real quick as well. I'm gonna do that off camera, and so you don't have to sit here and watch, but I just brush them up, put in a little brow wax, and then add a little color with a light brown eyeshadow, as a matter of fact. That's how I tint my brows. So reach out to me. I'm here if you want to FaceTime. We can get ready together over FaceTime one morning. But let me know how it goes. Send me a picture after you apply your makeup. Just so I can see how the color is for you. I want to see how the color looks on you. So I hope to hear from you soon, and good luck and congratulations with your new makeup. Have a great day.